Diamondbacks whoop the Nationals 17-0. Welcome home, Patrick Corbin. We're talking about this game and so much more right now. Let's go. You know what that song means. We're in Studio K, presented by Circle K. We're having a good time. What do you guys want to talk about? Welcome in to the PHNX D-Backs podcast right here on PHNX. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as your mayor of PHNX. We got Damon Dog on the ones and twos, taking care of Jesse Jr. Speaking of Jesse Friedman, he will be joining us here shortly from Chase Field with updates on Gabi Moreno, Gino's big night, Ryne Nelson shoving, and so much more. But of course, we're going to talk about it a little bit here right now because the Diamondbacks absolutely put a whooping on the Nationals, 17-0. I will say that again, 17-0. This is, again, one of those games that we saw from this team early on this season that were kind of anomalies, games that gave us hope that this team was potentially going to be incredible, and those games became few and far between. But the Diamondbacks took care of business tonight. They are officially 57-51. If you're here, we love you. We thank you for being here. Hit the like button. Alec, he's praying to the baseball gods, as we all should be, because this was an incredible night. With the win, the D-backs have now won or split every single series in the month of July. It has been a historically important month for this team, and especially considering what Mike Hazen just did at the trade deadline, mixed with the news that Eduardo Rodriguez is in fact a real person and will be joining this team sooner than we thought. There's a lot of positives in regards to what could happen for the Diamondbacks here in the future, but let's just talk about tonight because this was a huge night. First, we will clarify, and I'm not trying to step on anybody else's shoes, but the Diamondbacks tied a franchise record tonight with 22 hits. They did not set a franchise record. They tied it. And how many times have they done it? 3 times in franchise history, including one other time this season. So the Diamondbacks have, in fact,
that Rockies game?
It was actually against the San Francisco Giants in San Francisco on April 19th, and they scored. They got the 22 hits, but the Diamondbacks, of course, still, it doesn't matter. This is a beautiful night. Tying a franchise record is always a good thing. Setting it a little bit more special, but still an incredible night. Not to mention the fact that the Diamondbacks recorded 7 consecutive hits in a single inning in the second inning of this game. That's the 4th time they've accomplished that feat in franchise history. They accomplished their 8th shutout of the season with the 17-0 victory over the Nationals. And this is actually their 12th shutout victory in franchise history over the Nationals. So apparently holding them scoreless is nothing new for this team. But where do we even start with this offense right now? And I see Nicholas Gruters in the chat says, unfortunately, all the other wild card teams above us won too. That's fine. You know what? There are still 2 months of baseball to play. So I don't think it's time to be exactly worried about where teams are on the wild card hunt right now. But yes, I mean, as good as the Diamondbacks have been playing baseball, as good as they've been, the Mets have been equally incredible, as have been the Padres, who pull off another amazing comeback win over that blue squad that I'm not allowed to talk about on this podcast. But again, where do we even start right now with the offense, right? I mean, everybody contributed. Everybody had, a fairly big night for this team. Gabi Moreno, 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs scored. He did get hit in the hand by a pitch while he was catching. It was in his glove hand. And so he did stay in the game. They came out. Max Esposito, Torrey did the eye test where he comes over and stares him awkwardly in the eyes like he would if he was your son and he was seeing if you were drunk. He checks you and makes sure that you're telling the truth if you're injured or if you're hurt. Gabi was able to go out there and still catch, and they left him in the game, but they did remove him. I think as a precautionary measure for Jose Herrera, because the Diamondbacks were whooping that ass tonight when it came to this game over the Nationals. Perdomo, 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored. Damon will be the first one to tell you that he should have 3 RBI because they should have kept Corbin going on that one double that he had.
You can't take away Jerry's RBI.
He needs as many of them as possible.
He's not a big RBI guy. You got to give it to him when he gets it.
You got to, but Ski, this fucking team is a wagon. Let's go. This team is a wagon, and I don't know how to say that more about the offense tonight. I mean, this offense, 22 hits, all sprinkled around. Ketel Marte, 2 for 3. Pavin Smith, the Wolverines' favorite guy, he's back. He was 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored tonight. Gabi Moreno had 3 RBI himself. Lourdes Gurriel, 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. Everybody had a hit. Everybody had RBIs. Alek Thomas, 1 for 3 with 2 RBI. Randall Grichuk was 1 for 5 with an RBI and a run scored. Jake McCarthy, again, stays hot. He was 3 for 5 with an RBI and a run scored. Kevin Newman, 2 for 5, 2 RBI, or 2 runs scored, excuse me. Corbin Carroll was 1 for 3 with 2 walks and 2 runs scored. And then Perdomo, like I said, 3 for 5. But of course, the man, the myth, the legend tonight, Gino, Eugenio Suarez. There was someone that sent us a tweet that happened to say, we all owe Gino an apology. You all owe Gino an apology. Don't fucking include me in that shit. I've been defending that man all season long, and I'm happy to at least gloat about that in this moment after he went out there and hit 3 home runs tonight, 4 for 6, 5 RBI, 4 runs scored. His second home run, put it up on the screen. We're doing the deep drive of the game. His second home run went 447 feet with an exit velocity of 111.2 miles per hour off the bat. And that home run is our Sanderson Ford deep drive of the game. Gino's, I mean, you could say they all were because this man was incredible. Second player in franchise history to hit 10 or more home runs in the month of July. He still has another game to get another one. Jason Kubel was the other guy that did that in franchise history. I believe he had 11. He is the 12th D-back in franchise history to hit 3+ home runs in a game. And his 3 home runs, he did it one other time against the Pirates where he has hit 3 home runs in a game. It's rare, but holy crap, man. I mean, this guy this month has been incredible, and he continues to stay red hot for this team. It's just like again, it's all about, it all regresses to the mean. So his numbers at the end of the season are all going to look pretty good, but still it's not going to tell the tale of how hot he was in July. When you talk about this team winning every series or splitting every series in the month of July, Gino being this good this month has been a huge reason for that. I mean, the Diamondbacks have always received consistent, offense from guys like Ketel Marte all season long. I mean, even Corbin, for what he has been, he still has contributed basically the similar amount as the season went on. But when guys like Gabi, who has been incredible in the 2-hole once again, he was tonight, and Gino are contributing to the offense in the way they are the key to getting the Diamondbacks over that hump. We watched all of those games together as a family in May and in April. We saw how many times they suffered heartbreaking losses and came up just short. It's not like most of their losses this season have been, significantly huge deficits. Like the Diamondbacks have lost a lot of close games, and early on they gave up a lot of leads. They let a lot of teams come back. So again, the fact that these guys now are contributing seem to be the big difference maker for this team. And that's kind of all they needed. This is what they needed Gino to be. I mean, he's been better than they could have hoped for him to be better out after coming out of that slump. It was a long slump. I mean, it was long enough to actually be entertaining the ideas if the Diamondbacks should go to somebody else at third base. But luckily, his defense was enough to keep him to keep him in that starting role, even when he was struggling, because we saw what happened when they put Blaze, when they put Kevin Newman, when they put other guys over there. I mean, hell, even tonight, we already had a Pavin Smith sighting of him missing a play that we all know Christian Walker would have made easily over there. It didn't matter in a 17-0 victory, but it could matter in a closer game than that. And that's something that you can't take for granted when it comes to those guys on the corners. Yes, they slug. Yes, they do their things. Gino has been doing his thing this month, but man, I'll tell you, the defense that both of those guys provide at the corners is underrated. And, it's hard to really give credit where credit is due sometimes defensively to third baseman and first baseman, but I'll tell you, I do definitely have my concerns about Gabi Moreno. Of course, we know Gabi Moreno always looks like he's going to suffer a season-ending injury, as Damon pointed out to me, but then he somehow bounces back like 3 games later after he's just been out for a short time.
He just likes to scare the shit out of us,
That's exactly what it is.
It's always when this team is on top. It's always when this team is like, we're winning the World Series.
Right.
And then you're like, oh my God, we just lost our 2-hole hitter and our rookie, Gold Glove catcher. It sucks.
But hopefully we didn't, and hopefully Jesse will have a positive update for us from the clubhouse. Meanwhile, another guy that, it's going to be overshadowed by the offense tonight. And of course, the broadcast did give him the player of the game, and he definitely deserves that. Nelly, what a night tonight for Ryne Nelson. Now, he had plenty of run support, so it's easy to go out there and have that confidence. But his 60th, his four-seam fastball, he was using it 63% of the time. He got 6 whiffs on it. It maxed out at nearly 98 miles per hour, 97.9, and he averaged 95.3 miles per hour. He was just having a tremendous amount of success with it. Wasn't getting a lot of whiffs, but he was getting a lot of strikeouts. He was getting a lot of guys looking, and it was basically his command tonight was very on point once again with the fastball. He went 7 innings for this team, allowed only 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. There is something to be said about Ryne Nelson remaining in the starting rotation here when the Diamondbacks get their guys back, right? They're going to get Merrill Kelly back. They're going to get Eduardo Rodriguez back. We know that Ryne Nelson is obviously, based on probably options and other reasons, is kind of the odd man out here, but he has been outperforming Jordan Montgomery, and that's just a fact. Ryne Nelson has looked sharper. His stuff has been better, and he's had more consistent outings over the course of.
He drives a faster car. His house is bigger.
He's better looking. He's, whatever. No, none of those things are true because I'm sure Jordan Montgomery has plenty of money. But I will say Ryne Nelson, in 4 out of his 6 starts in July, Nelson has allowed 1 earned run or less. The other 2 outings, I believe he gave up 4 earned and 3 earned. So it's not like they were terrible outings by any stretch of the imagination. But 4 out of 6 now have been 1 earned run or less. So Ryne Nelson deserves some respect on his name, and he's just kind of quietly transformed into this guy that still throws the fastball entirely too much, maybe too much arguably to be successful, but it's a damn good fastball, and he can locate with it, and he can get guys out, and that's what he's been doing lately. So, I really don't know what the Diamondbacks are going to do in regards to their starting rotation. I don't have a clue. But I think Ryne Nelson goes out there and he performs like this. He makes that decision even harder. It feels like a no-brainer to leave the guy that's making $25 million in your starting rotation over the guy that still has options, But at the same time, Ryne Nelson deserves it based on his performance. And that's honestly who you should go with. It's going to be interesting if the Diamondbacks should make the playoffs, who they go with down the stretch or go with in the playoffs, because obviously teams kind of convert away from a 5-man rotation anyway. So that's a whole other interesting argument or discussion that we can have, hopefully, fingers crossed, at a later time. Hopefully these other wildcard teams stop being just as damn good as the Diamondbacks have been, because that's not making this a whole lot of fun. However, 17-0 victory, it's still a whole lot of fun. So we did talk to Mike Hazen before today's game about some of the trades that went down. If you are not familiar, if you did not catch our trade deadline bonanza show, we did have, of course, we covered the Diamondbacks trading for Josh Bell, which they did to kind of alleviate some of the pain here that is felt from Christian Walker going down to injury. What we heard today from Christian Walker, and Tori kind of confirmed it, is that Christian Walker is looking to miss about 3 weeks with this oblique injury. It could definitely be much worse, especially considering the limited amount of time that the Diamondbacks have here to get to get here to playoffs. They are in the hunt and they are winning games like they should be, but like we said, other teams are also winning their games. And as it stands right now, the D-backs are on the outside looking in. So I don't really know, obviously there's no way to know how this is going to play out, but they do have some big games against some of these teams coming up, including the Mets and the Padres. Those are going to be like playoff games at this point with the way these franchises are all playing. But the Diamondbacks did trade for Josh Bell, like I said, to hopefully alleviate some of those pains there that they have at first base with Walker missing time. They traded for him for cash considerations. So they will be picking up the $2.5 million contract here. We also saw that the Diamondbacks traded for Dylan Floro, reliever, which I got to meet today. Great guy. He was on the Washington Nationals. Diamondbacks brought him over. We got to see him literally go from the Nationals clubhouse with a camera crew following him right into the Diamondbacks clubhouse. So that was maybe a little awkward, and I don't know, but he seems like a good guy. I got a chance to ask him if that was awkward. He said, normally there's like a plane ride or something involved, so there's a little bit more time to kind of process, obviously, the change, but he just walked over, he got himself the batting practice hat, got himself a new t-shirt, and he was out there getting warmed up. And I don't know if he was ready. I don't know if he was available tonight for the Diamondbacks. They never really told us that, but obviously I'm sure you'd probably, like, just out of, I guess, courtesy, maybe not want to play him against his old team while you're still in the middle of the series that you traded him against. But Dylan Floro, some impressive numbers. Again, we talked about him today, but I think we do have some videos of Mike Hazen yet. Okay, we'll get to those here shortly. But this was just an impressive win overall for the Diamondbacks. I can't believe that one night after, or here we are the same day as the trade deadline. The D-backs
feels like there was 5 different guys tonight where if they had this game on any given night, that we would be talking about them to lead the show. Yeah,
no, you're absolutely right. Yeah, because when you break it down, Ryne Nelson on any given night, this could be a close game. This could be a 2-0 victory. This could be a 1-0 victory. Ryne Nelson went out there and was incredible. And yeah, like you said, on most nights, this would be a no-brainer that Ryne Nelson, for instance, would be our king snake. You could also say that about a few other guys. I mean, Perdomo was 3 for 5 with 2 RBI and 2 runs scored.
Jake had another 3-hit night, did he not?
Yes, Jake did have another 3-hit night.
I mean, that guy's unreal.
Yeah, he is unreal.
Kevin Newman was pretty good. A couple knocks.
Thank you to X-Rated1 for your super chat. He said, what is the org's view on Lynn and Ivan Melendez? Are they a call-up possibility? I think both of those guys are probably still a little too far away. I mean, obviously, Eugenio Lin, there was a lot of talk about him. Unfortunately, he suffered that freak injury when he got hit with a baseball in the dugout. So I feel like that kind of pushed his progress back a little bit, perhaps. But for the most part, I think the Diamondbacks aren't in a position really right now to call up any of those guys, at least this season. I mean, they are always a call-up possibility in the future for sure. I just think that the Diamondbacks are actually in a position where they're going to have to make tough decisions about what to do with the guys on the roster now. So I don't know if we will see any more call-ups, barring any injuries or anything like that happening.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think either one of those guys are going to be called up this season. Eugenio Lin, I mean, he's interesting because
people are excited to see him.
He throws so many pitches, right? But he's really small for a major league pitcher. So that's one of those ones where, I think it's going to work out or it's not going to work out in a very loud way, if that makes sense. And with Ivan Melendez, I'll be the one to be the bearer of harsh news. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry.
Ever?
He strikes out way too much.
Yeah, I mean,
he does that in double A and single A. He's not going to be an MLB caliber player.
I think the weird part about that is that I've just seen too many guys that people said they're not going to be anything.
I'd love to be wrong. I hope people come to me and be like, Damon, you're an idiot and you know nothing about baseball. I hope so.
It is the point theoretically of having them in a system to improve, right? Yeah, you're right. Some things are just things that you just can't change about a person, right? But I don't know. I believe that there is very much the possibility that we could see him turn things around in regards to that. But you're right. I mean, it's kind of like some of the peripherals with certain players where it kind of is decided a little bit that they, probably can't cut it at a major league level. that might be the case with some of these players like Davison De Los Santos. I don't really know what the future holds for him. I'm a little doubtful of that. I still hold out hope for him.
I don't think the D-backs really value that type of player all that much, a guy that's not a great defender, doesn't really have a position as much. Like Melendez, they've toyed around with moving him to both corner spots like Davison. And like I just think that they don't have as much value for guys like that as a lot of other teams in baseball currently,
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
They play a different brand of baseball.
They do. They do. And like Tori said, they're not going to go out there a lot of times and win 5-0 and do that. But they do play their brand of baseball. And if they do play their brand of baseball, they can beat anybody. And we saw that, honestly, right? We saw that last postseason. And we've seen that at times this season where they beat teams that they have no business beating, including over this stretch in the month of July. They have beat some very good teams, including the Dodgers, including the Padres. They split a series with the Braves that they easily could have won 3 out of 4 of against them. And I mean, I know that they have struggled at times against some of the better teams, like when they took on the Twins multiple times. But the Diamondbacks definitely are on a roll right now. And that's what's exciting, is they're on a roll at the right time, not to mention the fact that they have reinforcements waiting here very shortly to return to this team. Mike Hazen went out and did his job. I think the Diamondbacks get a good grade here in regards to the fact that they stuck to the game plan and they got the guys that they felt they needed. Josh Bell probably wouldn't have been acquired had it not been for, the injury to Christian Walker. But you have to respect the fact that this team wants to win so much that they did not want to let a deficiency there at first base for even 3 weeks cause them to start slipping back. They can't. This race is too close, and these other teams are just playing baseball, and they're playing entirely too good a brand of baseball right now. What the Padres did again tonight against the Dodgers, I can only imagine how juiced that clubhouse is right now to go out there and try to sweep them tomorrow. And of course, honestly, we might start talking here about the NL West as a division that the Diamondbacks might be back in very shortly, because they are not that far out of it. And as crazy as it sounds, you never know. There's 2 months of baseball still left and still a lot of games to play. But we do have Mike Hazen here talking about some of the trades, of course. One of the big questions he was asked is about the pursuit of a starter and if the Diamondbacks would be going after a starter. That sounds even crazier after the way that Ryne Nelson pitched tonight. But here was what Mike Hazen had to say about the Diamondbacks looking into starters in the trade market.
We did not spend a ton of time on the starting pitching market. The starting pitching prices were relative to where we were, who the bar to jump over, which in an acquisition would be, again, like we're banking on some of these guys making those improvements that we need to make, but jumping over Brandon Pfaadt that seemed like we needed to spend our time doing other things. So no, we didn't spend as much time on the starting pitching market. I mean, we kicked it around, we heard, but we didn't have, in some cases, we didn't have the pieces to line up on some trades. Like our system wasn't suited to line up on some of the pieces. Unfortunately, that's work that we need to do moving into the future. And I felt like we had other things to address more specifically.
Like relievers, right? And of course, they do have an abundance of starting pitching if everything works out for them. In fact, they have a problem here. And there's been some things that might work themselves out. Slade Ciccone, as we talked about today, might end up being an amazing reliever for this team. The Diamondbacks go out, they add 2 before the trade deadline. They add AJ Puck and they add Dylan Floro, who seems like a delightful person based on my short conversation with him today. Here's what Mike Hazen had to say about adding Dylan Floro to that bullpen.
We think both Dylan and AJ add a lot of experience into our bullpen. Consistency, he had a good year. He's going to put the ball on plate. We like that. That's obviously in the role that he's probably going to be pitching in. I think it's probably in front of the deep leverage guys is my guess, but you can ask Tori that question when he comes in. But I think more than anything else, adding another quality major league arm to the next 55 games.
Someone, Sean in the chat says, damn it, Derek, guaranteed L tomorrow. You really thought they were going to sweep a team? You're the crazy one if you thought they were going to win tomorrow. That's insane.
Yeah. I mean, it's still July, right? Tomorrow?
It's still July. Yeah, they can't.
Unfortunately, there's 31 days in July. If there was 30, yeah. I'd give us a damn good shot tomorrow.
Yeah, that's it. Start saying undefeated series. Is his hair purple? No, his hair is not, unfortunately, not purple, but that would be incredible if it was. We also talked here a little bit about Josh Bell relieving the pressure there at first base. Here's what Mike Hazen had to say about making that move with Walker being injured.
Got pretty good news that it was a low-grade strain.
So you got any sort
of that I don't want to put any sort of time frame on it yet, but it was good news relative to what we could have seen on there. And Walk's probably the toughest or one of the toughest guys we have in our clubhouse, so I wouldn't bet against him and where that may come, but we're going to be smart about it. He's going to be smart about it. And I actually think part of this move helps take some of the pressure off that for him, that if I know his mindset, it'll be to rush back and help the team. And we need him ready to go at full tilt for as long as we're going to have for the rest of the season. So we don't want to push into any bad direction here. So I think overall as a positive, as unfortunate as that is not a positive situation.
You guys are all yelling at me about saying the S word. That must be why Ruth was screaming about my profanity earlier from Twitter. I'm sorry, Ruth. I'm actually contractually obligated to say curse words on this show. My apologies, but my goddamn bosses demanded of me.
We have a swear jar for a reason.
We have a swear jar for a reason, Ruth. I mean, that's kind of part of it.
It's written in Derek's contract.
Yeah. But anyway, the Diamondbacks win an amazing game here. And of course, when you talk about those trades, the one thing that you can say that is that the Diamondbacks didn't give up a ton, obviously. I know there's some Andres Chaparro fans out there. I know that there's some Davison De Los Santos fans out there, but still, the Diamondbacks didn't really mortgage too much of their future in order to give this year's team a chance to win. Not to mention the fact, like AJ Puck, for instance, is controllable for the future. He looks really good and just could be a big piece of this team, not just this season, but beyond. So I really, really think that the Diamondbacks did a good job of not giving up too much and still being able to fill the limited needs they had. They didn't really need to make any big flashy moves. I know as fans, sometimes you kind of want that, and I understand that. You want the Garrett Crochet. You want somebody that you really think changes this team significantly. The guys that change this team significantly right now are on the IL, and they are coming back here very soon. And I think that we don't know what Eduardo Rodriguez is going to be, but we know what Merrill Kelly is, and we know Merrill, the mainstay, really can change the dynamic of this starting rotation and just make this Diamondbacks team formidable team. They really just need to hold things together here. And of course, Ryne Nelson, as he has done tonight, as he has done all July, continues to be another option for this team that you have to remember that they have. Even if things don't go well, specifically for other starting pitchers, that Ryne Nelson, he's really been putting it together lately. And of course, let's throw up just for our guy Nelly, let's throw up the Circle K strikeout meter, shall we? 9 strikeouts tonight for our guy. Great night for Nelly.
So close to filling out the meter.
Almost. We'll get it filled up here soon, but 7 innings pitched.
There's a race to 10, Derek. Did you know about this?
Yes, we got to get there. We'll see what happens here. Maybe, I think maybe one of those guys that could get there would be Zach Gallen throwing a masterclass tomorrow, as someone suggested here. But of course, we thank all of you here in the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. If you have not done so already, hit that like button, hold that line for the Diamondbacks, of course, is what we're talking about when we hold the line around here. Make sure you subscribe to the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Subscribe, sign up, that way for notifications, that way you don't miss whenever our shows go live. Of course, hit that like button. If you're listening on the audio podcasting side, make sure you're subscribed on your favorite audio podcasting app. Leave us a review. We appreciate the feedback. And of course, those 5-star reviews mean the world to us. And if you, of course, want to leave feedback about my potty mouth, probably do so on Twitter. That's the best place for that. But also, make sure to check out Bet365. Bet365 has 90 million users worldwide, and there is a reason for that. They live stream 780,000 events each year. They have early payout offers across all sports, including Major League Baseball, where if your team goes up by 5 runs, you get an instant payout. Same game parlay and parlay additions are marked as winners as well. So, of course, that is all taken care of. You also, right now, as a new customer, can choose between 2 offers when you open an account at Bet365. Just use our code of PHNX365 to sign up. Deposit $10 and choose either between a bet and get offer, where you can place a $5 bet and receive $150 in bonus bets, or a first bet safety net offer by placing up to $1,000 bet. And if your qualifying bet loses, you will receive a match refund in bonus bets. Download the Bet365 app now and use code PHNX365 when you sign up. Choose your offer and find out why it is never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 and over and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov. Well, Indeed.com is here for your hiring needs. And if you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform, and they call it that because they will help you hire by matching you with candidates that are qualified for the job you are posting. And of course, that's part of the big problem. Sifting through all these candidates that don't really have the qualifications that you're looking for. So ditch the busy work and use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with quality candidates faster. And Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster. 93% of employers agree that Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to a recent Indeed survey. So join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent like we got here at PHNX. And of course, maybe we should have hired Indeed to vet Jesse. I don't know. I'm just saying. I got to attack.
Stray.
I got to attack somebody. Someone's got to get a stray.
Always behind the back, though.
Yeah,
that's the part that hurts.
That's the way we do things around here. We want to see if we can get qualified candidates behind Jesse's back. But listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/AllCity. Just go to Indeed.com/AllCity right now and support this show by saying you heard about us on about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/AllCity. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire, you need Indeed. All right. Well, of course, the count is a very pleasant sight for our eyes tonight. Let's take a look at the count presented by Desert Financial Credit Union. Diamondbacks outscore the Washington Nationals 17-0. Damon had a very funny Photoshop moment here because he had to update this graphic from the last series the Diamondbacks played, which was against the Pirates. And when he went to do so, the Diamondbacks had scored 18 runs in a 3-game series against the Pirates, whereas they scored 17 runs just in this game alone. That's just a funny thing that happened. Of course, they out-hit the Nationals 22-4. Runners in scoring position, Diamondbacks were 9 for 17, while the Nats were 0 for 1. There is your barometer for this game right there. Diamondbacks 9 for 17 with runners in scoring position, 0 for 1 for the Nats. Diamondbacks had 8 extra base hits, including those 3 dingers by Gino, and the Nats had 0 extra base hits. Hard hit percentage, always hilariously even in a way, 46.5% for the Diamondbacks.
That was my takeaway too.
To like 38.9%.
It really doesn't make much sense, does it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's just ball because just because balls aren't hit over 95 mile per hour exit velo does not mean that they are not hit hard. Like, let's be honest, and they're not hit far.
We were hitting the shit out of the ball though, and it didn't feel like they were hitting anything really.
Yeah. Well, of course, we do have to give our king snake out, and there's nobody better to give it to than our guy Gino. Let's give it up. 4 for 6 tonight, 3 home runs, 5 RBI, 4 runs scored. It's just a great night. It's just a great night for Gino, and it's been a great month for Gino. 10 home runs in the month of July, and he's killing it. He's absolutely killing it. He's killing it at a time when the Diamondbacks needed someone to step up. Again, like I said, it can't continue to just be Ketel Marte all the time. It can't continue to just be, just a handful of guys. And the way that this team is constructed is that, you get Gino going off on a night like this. And that's kind of where you get the offense from at times. It's not like they're expecting Gino to have a 300 plus batting average or anything like that. But this team is built for there to be a different hero every single night. Tonight, Gino is that guy. Let's see. AZ Cats G, thank you for the super chat. He said, Derek, make sure you defend the pool tomorrow. Oh, we will be defending the shit out of the pool tomorrow. Sorry, Ruth. I'm sorry. I'll stop saying curse words. I'm really
that
not
S word
trying.
is actually okay.
That one's okay. That's the S word that I'm allowed to say. All right. Kareem Rodriguez says D-backs versus Yankees 2024. Sure. That's
rematch.
fine.
We own them.
I mean, that's fine. Yeah, I would love to see that rematch.
I'm not scared of those fools.
Yeah, that's a rematch that's been waiting to happen entirely too long. But of course, we got to thank our friends here at Circle K for not only our beautiful Studio K, but for always keeping me hydrated. I could use, if you were hearing my voice right now, you're probably like, it's not going to make it through the 9th inning. I think they're going to have to pull him after 7. And you might be right, because I could use a Froster or a Polar Pop for just 79 cents right now. Circle K is, of course, America's thirst stop, and you can stop there. You can also join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. I recommend you do that before you stop there. Terms and conditions apply. At participating locations, visit CircleK.com for details. But when you do, you'll save 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups on some gasoline at Circle K, not to mention all the wonderful coupons that they give you in that app. So, of course, make sure to sign up for that Inner Circle today. The Diamondbacks' future, very, very bright right now. So you should plan accordingly with a good pair of sunglasses from our friends at Shady Rays. Get ready for maybe the postseason ahead of time with quality shades that are built to last. Shady Rays is an independent sunglass company offering a world-class product that doesn't cost you nearly the amount of their comparable competitors, I guess you could say. They are rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people for a reason, and that is because Shady Rays are not only amazing with hundreds of styles to choose from, but if you do not love your Shady Rays, you can return them worry-free. Within 30 days, you can either exchange them for a new pair or get your money back. And also, if you lose or break your Shady Rays, even on day 1, they will replace them. No questions asked. Shady Rays, very, very loving company. And of course, they have your back long after you purchase your shades. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code PHNX for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
You can't beat that deal anywhere in retail.
You really can't.
Who offers stuff like that?
We do. PHNX does. Well, yeah. Shady Rays does too.
Well, through us,
but thank them too. They also get credit. Speaking of not sharing credit, I don't do that enough on this show with this guy. He's the real heart and soul, and he's everybody's favorite for some unknown reason. But let's bring him in. It's my Thunderstick and your vice mayor, the one and only Jesse Friedman. What a night, Jesse. What a night. Quite a different night. Of course, a win is a win, but Diamondbacks really put it to the Nationals tonight.
Yeah, Derek, it feels like a very distant memory at this point, but the vibes were not particularly high for the Diamondbacks as of yesterday at the start of the 7th inning, maybe roughly around 9 o'clock local time here in Arizona. The Diamondbacks were coming off a brutal loss in the finale on Sunday to the Pittsburgh Pirates. They were, as I said, trailing. At the start of the 7th inning, they were trailing 8-2 to the Washington Nationals going into the bottom half of the 7th inning. Of course, the D-backs wind up scoring a run in the 7th, a run in the 8th. They score 5 runs in the 9th, pull off one of the most impressive comebacks in franchise history. And Derek, going back to the 7th inning of last night's game, the Washington Nationals have not scored a single run, and the Diamondbacks have scored 24. Yes, the Diamondbacks have outscored the Nationals 24-0 over the last 12 innings of baseball. So, another game last night. It felt hard to put to words what the Diamondbacks accomplished late. This one obviously takes a very, very different form, but I find myself equally at a loss for words for what the Diamondbacks were able to do tonight.
Tied a franchise record with 22 hits, which they also did one other time this season against the Giants, Jesse. They also, of course, had an amazing night here from Gino, which was our King Snake. Gino just going off. And, of course, tonight is kind of the culmination of the way that he's performed this month. This is obviously his best performance, but Gino's been doing it for this team all month long in July. And, this is the player the Diamondbacks thought they were getting when they traded for him.
Yeah, I mean, Gino at this point, like, yeah, it hasn't looked exactly like maybe you draw it up. Maybe you'd like it to be a little more consistent, over the first 4 months of the season as opposed to 3 months of struggle and then one of the best months we've ever seen a Diamondbacks hitter put together, which is what Gino has done here in the month of July. I tweeted it out earlier, Derek. Gino today became one of two Diamondbacks hitters to ever hit 10 or more home runs in the month of July. The other being D-backs legend Jason Kubel, who I'm sure people have fond memories of if they've been a fan of this team for a while. Pretty crazy stuff. I think Kubel hit like 27, 28 home runs that season, and 11 of them came in 1 month. I'm not quite sure exactly how that happened. But yeah, just the turnaround here is remarkable. Like Gino literally a month ago today had a 591 OPS. We were full scale having the conversations about DFAing him, getting Blaze Alexander, who I believe was still with the team at the time, maybe getting him some more reps there. That was a decision the D-backs actually made at one point. It didn't wind up lasting very long. But to go from a 591 OPS then to now around 720, like Gino at this point has been an above average hitter over the course of the full season. And so much of that obviously has come here in this last month.
Bees stays asking great questions, but Bees in the chat says, at what point does this become more than just a regression to the mean, right? Like, we know hitters are streaky. We know they go through good times and bad times. It's kind of like what we were talking about with Josh Bell. The Diamondbacks are getting him at a great time because he's hitting 400 in his last 7 games, right? But like, again, the numbers, the stats for the season, they tell the story of a guy's season overall, but that doesn't mean that Gino couldn't possibly stay hot or at least stay somewhat of a version of this for the rest of the year. Like, that's not that uncalled for. That's not that out of the question.
Yeah, I mean, we talked with Tori, and we'll get some of that video here in a second. But yeah, he talked about how the D-backs had a lot of internal data that pointed to Gino probably getting hot around this time of the year, how he tends to struggle a little bit early on, and then he turns things on in the second half of the season. And, from what Tori described, he thinks it's going to continue. He thinks that, that data doesn't just say that Gino gets hot in July. That data suggests that Gino gets hot through the entirety of the second half of the season. So, we'll see if that happens. Gino has, I don't have it in front of me. It's probably an OPS north of 1,100 in the month of July. Like, I don't know if we can put that level of expectation on him the rest of the way.
Yeah.
But it's been huge. I mean, what he's been able to do for this team has been so enormous and such a big part of the team's success this month, especially on a day like today, Derek, where this is day one without Christian Walker. Eugenio Suarez is your new cleanup hitter, and he hits a 2-run homer in his very first at bat and winds up hitting 2 more homers later in the game. It's hard to ask for a whole lot more than that from a guy in your cleanup spot.
I'm going to give you his numbers prior to this game because Baseball Reference doesn't have this game in there yet. But prior to this game, in the month of July, Gino's hitting 300 with a 376 on-base percentage, a 638 slugging percentage, a 1.014 OPS. He has 24 hits in the month, 7 home runs, 22 RBI. That's coming into tonight's game. Obviously, he's added to that significantly with the 3 home runs.
I actually, over on MLB.com, I think this is updated as of the end of tonight's game.
Okay.
In July, they have him slashing 326, 394, 744. That is an OPS of 1138. That's pretty bonkers right there.
That's insane. And I mean, again, we talked also, Jesse, about how like there are a lot of nights tonight that are, or there's a lot of performances tonight that are kind of overshadowed by Gino. You got Jake McCarthy with another 3-hit night. You have Ryne Nelson, who is excellent on the mound for this team. And, again, you just have this team running on all cylinders right now.
Yeah, Ryne Nelson was really good in this game, and it kind of fell under the radar a little bit because the offense was doing so much damage early on. I mean, the game was frankly over after the second inning. I mean, it went from 2-0 to 9-0. Kind of figured you knew what was going to happen the rest of the way, but still have to give credit to Ryne Nelson for pitching one of the best games of his career, if not the best game of his career on paper. I mean, 7 scoreless innings. He only allowed a handful of hits in this game, was in control the entire way. I believe threw a career high 106 pitches. He talked about after the game how it didn't really feel that way to him, how, he was working pretty efficiently and he didn't feel like he was really laboring or being taxed out there at all. So, yeah, Ryne Nelson's another big story in July for the D-backs, Derek. It's not just Gino with his 1138 OPS. It's Ryne Nelson with a 2.41 ERA this month, and I believe that's in 6 games. That's pretty impressive stuff, and also, of course, very much needed as the Diamondbacks wait for some of their other starters to come back.
Well, we do have some videos from the clubhouse, I think, including Gino himself discussing his big night. Here's what Gino had to say about his 3 home run performance.
Great, obviously, feel awesome, feel great, have a day like this one today, 3 home run day. But at the same time, feel great to have that win, and not only the win, the series, I feel like it's been a long time to have a day like this one, and it's feel great, feel proud of myself because I never give up, never, ever. Just working hard every day and have a day like this one is when I say, the hard work pay off. So it's awesome. It feels great.
It must feel great. I can only imagine how it feels to hit 1 home run in a major league baseball game, right? Like I can only imagine that. Like 3, you wouldn't be able to tell me not to curse, Ruth, after 3 home runs. That's for sure. Because you couldn't tell me nothing after hitting 3 home runs in a professional baseball game.
Yeah, it was just incredible. And Torrey also talked about how he was really gunning for Gino to get a 4th at bat and or not a 4th at bat, but to give him an opportunity to hit his 4th home run.
Yeah.
And he did wind up getting that opportunity. And Torrey said he had no doubt in his mind that Gino was going to hit a 4th home run. Unfortunately, that didn't wind up happening. He pops up in foul territory. But yeah, still just an incredible game for Gino. And again, I mean, it's just wild to think about where we were a month ago on him, how I think just about everyone in the chat, if we're being totally honest, including, I think probably both of us, Derek, like.
Nope, I've already told you, leave me out of that shit. I've been defending that man this entire season, Jesse. The entire season I've been defending that man. Why does he look doubtful? Damon, am I wrong? What is happening here? We might have to
do a receipt pulling session on this.
Yeah, we're going to pull some receipts.
I don't think I believe that was your opinion at the time, but I'm willing to acknowledge that maybe it could have been, I guess. The point is that basically everyone in the universe, everyone who cares about the Diamondbacks, very much was looking to move on from this guy a month ago. And it goes to show how, the patience that front offices show. And sometimes it works out. And like it has in this case, sometimes, frankly, it doesn't. And, we've also seen the D-backs hang on to players for longer than they should have in retrospect. But it helps you kind of put into perspective those decisions that front offices have to make and why sticking by a guy like Eugenio Suarez is, really paid dividends for them.
He's looking for love. I figured it out. I just figured it out. He's looking for love. All right. Well, of course, Torrey had glowing things to say also about Gino. Here's what Torrey had to say about Gino's night tonight.
The conversation never came into my office. We were very concerned.
Can we pull this one?
Gino,
let's
progression.
So that is. We'll roll this one and we'll roll that one in a second. Torrey was asked tonight, looking back on the conversations that were had a month ago, how close it got to Gino being DFA'd. So we'll air. We're gonna save that clip here for a couple minutes from now. For now, let's just go ahead and roll the other one, which is Torrey just talking about the Diamondbacks' pretty rad win here tonight over the Washington Nationals.
First of all, it was a special day for Gino. I want to acknowledge that. You hit 3 home runs, it's 4 hits. He's had a terrific month. It's just not today. He's been doing it for the entire month of July. After a couple lean months, he really stuck with it. He started to change a couple of his work habits, just a little minor adjustments, and he's really taken off. And that was awesome watching that third one go over the fence. And he stuck with it, and everybody in the dugout was celebrating with him. Ryne Nelson also had a terrific day. When we were a little bit up against it with some overusage of guys, he throws 7 really strong innings. There was a point in time there around pitch 80-ish that I thought maybe we can get him through 8, but at 105, I didn't want to press up. But he was doing it by mixing up his pitches, had good life on his fastball, a lot of carry, the cut fastball, changeup, breaking balls, just a really good effort. And I watched everything go really, really well for him, not just the fastball, and that's the secondary stuff that he's been working on. You got 22 hits, a number of base runners, some really good run scoring opportunities. We just kept getting after it. We didn't shut down, and that's what I'm proud of. I'm proud of 2 walks as a pitching staff. I'm proud of no errors as a defensive team. That means everybody was engaged for 8.5 full innings. And even though the score was extremely lopsided, the entire team was engaged and focused, and that's what stands out. I mean, I could go over highlights all day. Cattell with 3 hits, and Perdomo, Newman. I don't even know. Everybody had multiple hits. It was just a magical day. McCarthy, it was a magical day. Real good approaches, and we're gonna enjoy it.
It really was a magical day. And just to clarify, we played the wrong clip, and Jesse was speaking over the audio.
Oh,
that was not really him
did that come through on
interrupting
the
Torrey
show?
in the middle of his press conference. So no, that's on us. It's all on us. They still want you to apologize for Pavin and the comments you made about Pavin, Jesse. They'll never let you forget that. But
I gotta say the multiverse reality where Jesse cuts Torrey off in the middle of his answers
No. That's
Shut
not
up,
it.
shut up.
Torrey. Yeah, no, that's not a universe we live in. That's for sure. But of course, I mean, obviously, it is a magical night for this team. That's the only way you can describe it. It's the only way you can look at it as a manager. Like I liked when Torrey was asked about last night's win, and he talked about just how much the opposite. And I think Mike Hazen said it too. Like he said it in today's press conference. Like what happened in last night's game was, it's hard to put into words, but like all the pain, everything you feel from a loss like they lost in the series finale to the Pirates is the opposite after you win a game like last night. And of course, I mean, it's a good time too, because the trade deadline came and went today. The Diamondbacks didn't really make any crazy moves, but they did make their team better with the moves that they made. They addressed their needs. And we talked about this team not really having a lot of weaknesses. Obviously, one of those weaknesses was Christian Walker going down and losing him for an undetermined amount of time. Right now, they say about 3 weeks, but they're still not, 100% sure on that timetable. They don't want to set a timetable for his return, understandably. They did the things that they did, and of course, the way they've been playing lately allows Mike Hazen to be confident in the tweaks that he made without having to go out there and do anything drastic to change this team and to improve their chances at winning. They really just felt like they needed some help in the bullpen, and they got that. And they parted ways with Miguel Castro, which they DFA'd based on the moves they made.
Yeah.
And they feel like they improved their bullpen, and statistically, they definitely have. I really like the 2 guys that they went after, and it feels like it didn't cost them a lot. So, I mean, things have worked out for them. But again, the way that guys like Gino have played lately has been a big reason why the Diamondbacks didn't have to consider doing something drastic and really could just focus on mostly the bullpen.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and go back to that other clip, and this time not going to interrupt Torrey while he's talking.
Don't interrupt Torrey this time.
Here is Torrey Lovello talking about, he was asked the question, how close did you get to actually DFAing Eugenio Suarez about a month ago? This was pretty interesting. Here's what Torrey had to say.
The conversation never came into my office. We were very concerned about Gino and his progression, and you don't just lose it. You gotta maybe look for it in different ways, and that's what we were trying to encourage him to do. And we talked about high intensity, low rep training, not just going out there and getting loose. You might have to change things up. So it never really came into my office, and I don't know what would happen if it did. He's a proven veteran presence who can go out there and carry a team for a game a week, and it's now been a month. So I know it feels good for him. We were just waiting for that worm to turn. We had a lot of statistical data that showed his July's trend in a very positive ways. His August and September's are always really, really good. And it's happening right before our very eyes. So the key is to figure out what to do in April, May, and part of June where it wasn't going so well for him. We got to eliminate those months and help him out in the future.
So the answer is it wasn't close.
No, it wasn't really close. We never got there. We didn't really have replacements, so I didn't think there was an opportunity to have somebody in AAA come up and take anybody's job. And that for me is why it never came into my office.
And there it is. I mean, I think that at times we as fans and even we as reporters and journalists put things on this team that they never actually did, right? Like in this case, it's kind of funny that he does give good reasons there, but they never really considered that. And I mean, I know that Gino was struggling, but other parts of his game made it difficult for them to even think about replacing him when you don't have a better player ready and waiting.
The absence of Lawler. I mean, he was really the only viable option.
Yes. Right. Yeah. And you can hear there. I mean, Torey's like, we didn't have anybody else to go to. Like, it very much sounds like maybe the Diamondbacks really would have taken a hard look at moving on from Eugenio Suarez, but there just weren't any clear options. Obviously, Blaze Alexander was the primary topic of discussion at the time.
For sure.
But, we were looking at his underlying stats, and it was like, the underlying stats were actually worse than Eugenio Suarez's underlying stats at the time. Obviously, the D-backs wind up sending down Blaze shortly thereafter. So, yeah, I mean, it's obviously not a good thing that Jordan Lawler wound up getting hurt or that the D-backs don't have as much depth at third base as maybe you'd like them to. But I think defense was also a part of this. Like, Gino is a true third baseman and has had some lower points defensively at third early in the season, but has been nothing but just really solid over there for the last couple of months. And that is something the D-backs also value very, very highly. And obviously it's worked out pretty well.
I love you, Bees. I just want to say that. Super chats, by the way, let's get to some of those really fast. Shout out to Johnny Walker, one of my favorite liquors. Johnny Walker says, "Go D-backs." Thank you, Johnny.
One of the many, Derek.
Thank you, Johnny.
That's a very extensive list.
I'm like, thank you for the nights we've had together. Johnny Walker also says, "Oh yeah, defense." Yep. Big shout out to Kevin Haskey. Thank you for your super chat. Kevin says, "Happy birthday, Rake McCarthy, Kurt Angle song. You suck. You suck." And you don't suck, but we have to do that when the song plays.
And happy birthday, J Mart.
Happy birthday, Justin Martinez, as well. Another one of our favorite
today's
guys
J Mart's
on this
birthday.
team. J Mart's birthday and Jake. So Jake and Jay. Of course, great night all the way around. One blemish, one concern, Jesse, and we were hoping to get an update from you. Gabi Moreno got hit in the hand. He stayed in the game, but he got removed later for Jose Herrera. Is everything okay with Gabi?
Everything is okay with Gabi. Torey said that the D-backs did get x-rays on his left wrist, but they came back negative, and he said he expects Gabi to be in there tomorrow. Lourdes Gurriel also took kind of a dramatic swing. It looked like he was a little uncomfortable afterward. At one point in this game when he struck out, I think it was in the front half of the game, and he obviously was also removed from the game. And Torey said that may have had a role in that. He said he noticed Lourdes looking a little uncomfortable on that swing, but he said there are no concerns there, and that Lourdes is also expected to be back in there tomorrow.
All right. Well, then outside of Christian Walker, everything's okay for now, right? Interesting to see what will happen with Josh Bell. Any ideas when we'll see Bell join the team?
I would suspect that he would be here tomorrow, but he's coming from kind of the other side of the country, and it's obviously a day game, so he'd probably have to be here by like 10 in the morning in order for it to work. So I would probably expect that to be the case, but if not, I mean, I guess he also could just meet the Diamondbacks in Pittsburgh. They've got the off day on Thursday, so we'll keep you all posted on that.
Definitely, that's for sure. Dylan Floro, meanwhile, had the shortest commute that anybody could have had merely walking across the bottom area there at Chase from one clubhouse to another. Jesse, tomorrow is a very important day, not because the Diamondbacks could get the alleged S word that I'm not allowed to say, according to the chat, but it's because it's our takeover of the Chase Field pool. So we will be out there with so many of you having a great time. Yes, Ryan, I will be bringing the big glove to the pool with me tomorrow because when I'll defend the pool from home run balls as well. I'm going to do that, but we'll definitely be defending. You're going
to embarrass all of us with your massive glove, Derek.
Oh yes, I was going to embarrass you just with my outfit, Jesse. I was going to embarrass you just with the
I've gotten used to
top
that.
and
Though.
bottom.
I've gotten used to that. I don't.
He did. You got to see me wear it when we went out to the Frisco Rough Riders thing. So, I mean, you already had to deal that. Oh, yeah.
I knew Derek was going to go romper style.
I can go romper. You want me to go Kelly Kapowski romper or Big League Chew? Like you guys pick. Maybe I got a Star Wars little Millennium Falcons one that we could go with as well. I have plenty of outfits to choose from for the pool. So I will be wearing my Defend the Pool shirt. Oh, that's the key. We should all be wearing the Defend the Pool shirt together as a family. So looking forward to seeing you guys out there. Of course, Jesse told me that there won't be any sun, but I still think you should bring sunblock. I'm just saying that's just something that I suggest strongly. Jesse, before we get out of here, of course, we know that this game was full of lies, basically. All sorts of lies about how good this team might honestly be, because I'm not believing a 17-0 victory, but we'll see. But we know the numbers, they don't lie, and according to them, the Diamondbacks are good. What do you have for tonight's number that doesn't lie?
Yeah, tonight's number is 13, Derek, and this represents the number of hits that the Diamondbacks had off tonight's starting pitcher, Patrick Corbin, which blows my mind. You do not often see managers allow their starters to stay in a game long enough to allow 13 hits. So that is a bit of a rarity. The last time I tweeted this out, so people might have seen it already, but the last time the Diamondbacks had 13 hits on an opposing hitter, or an opposing starting pitcher came in 2008, and it happened twice in 2008. One of them was Jeff Francis, a name that might ring a bell.
Whoa.
And the other,
that's a name I haven't heard in 84 years.
Another name that certainly will ring a bell is Greg Maddux. The Diamondbacks had 13 hits off Greg Maddux when he was 42 years old in 2008. And it was a pretty fantastic pitching line. That game, Greg Maddux threw 7 innings and gave up 9 runs on 13 hits, which is delightfully outrageous and amazing. So that was the last time it happened. The highest hit total the Diamondbacks have ever had in a single game against an opposing starter, that came in 2005, 15 hits, and that one came against a 21-year-old Zach Greinke, which I found to be hilarious and amazing as well. So that's your numbers.
Yes, that's amazing. That was well worth it. Well, shout out to Caleb Lindsay. He says best birthday ever. Wagon. Let's go. Happy birthday to you, sir. Birthday triplets. Yeah. We got anybody else have a birthday?
You guys should have a joint birthday
party. Is
today
your birthday, Jesse? You have a J in your name, so you might go with Jake and J Mart there. All right.
The Jake,
let us down.
Justin and Caleb joint birthday party. It's gonna be electric.
Where are we going? What club are we going to? We'll meet you on Roosevelt here shortly. But of course, shout out to Desert Financial Credit Union, of course, for checking our numbers and for always keeping us honest. For more than 84 years, Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union, dedicated in creating exceptional experiences by giving back both to the community and providing solutions that make your lives better. The Desert Financial team got me started on my home ownership journey, and hopefully they can get you started as well. Hopefully they can get you to meet all of your financial dreams and goals. You can look to Desert Financial for checking and savings accounts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and so much more. When you open a free checking account online, get $200 in bonuses. Get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200. Also, had myself a tasty 4 Peaks. You probably should in victory, in this case of victory. And get yourself, speaking of cases, a case of the Bad Birdie Juicy Golden Ale. You can get those in 15 packs at grocery stores around the valley. You can also get them in tap lines.
You see that
everywhere.
comment we got on the show yesterday?
Oh, yeah. Somebody finally tried their first Bad Birdie.
And all they said was, I get it.
One of us. one of us. Well, not Jesse, but one of the rest of us. But of course, make sure to check out Bad Bird.
You don't have to go out of your way to exclude me, Derek.
I know. I really shouldn't, because I've seen Jesse drink delicious Four Peaks beers, and he very much enjoys them, right? And Four Peaks has a wide variety for you to choose from. So, of course, especially when you go down to their location, you get those wonderful chicken tendies we've been hyping up. You can also get yourself any one of their beers. They'll let you try them out. Of course, you find your favorite.
It's the only thing I've ever seen Jesse drink, when I come to think of it.
You're right. Yeah,
I
Four
think
Peaks.
Jesse's kind of a beer snob when it comes
a
down to it.
A little bit, yeah. He only likes his Four Peaks.
Get that gross generic stuff out of my face. If it's not Four Peaks, I don't want it.
We were on the road, and he was like, "Do you guys have Four Peaks?" And they were like, "No." He's like, "I'll take wine." You know, that's how Jesse is. But they don't have Four Peaks. He ain't having it. But, of course, we thank you guys so much. Jesse, thank you, of course, for all of your great work from Chase Field. Shout out to Damon Dog for his wonderful work. I thank you guys for taking care of the duties with that emergency podcast while I was getting 11 glorious hours of sleep. I don't mean to be rubbing that in. It's just factually what happened. But hit that like button before you get out of here. Of course, we thank so many of you for being here, watching the show tonight. You can follow all of us on Twitter. I'm at Cap_Caveman with a K. Jesse is at Jesse N. Friedman. Damon is at Damon Dog. That's DAWG. We are Damon's Dogs. Bark, bark. Our show is at PHNX_D-backs. But of course, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We are actually off tomorrow, so we can enjoy that wonderful pool party at Chase Field with all of you. And then we're actually making Jesse, not letting him, we're making Jesse take the rest of the week off. So Jesse will be out of here, but he will be back next week on Monday, and we will be holding down the fort on Thursday and Friday. Thursday, we have a 1 p.m. show, and Friday, another post-game show. So make sure to join us back here, and hopefully the Diamondbacks can take care of business tomorrow. I don't even want to say it. It's crazy to even
don't say the word, dude.
Don't say the S word.
Look who we got on the mound, Derek.
Yeah,
show some fucking guts.
Nope, I refuse to. I'm not going to do that. I'll let these people come for you, but I'm not going to.
I'm bringing the energy tomorrow to the pool.
Oh, I can't wait. By the way, me and Damon, we're going to be interviewing you guys out at the pool, so don't be surprised when that happens as well. So we'll be having some fun content, making some fun content, of course, with all of you. So can't wait for that. In the meantime, hope you guys have a wonderful evening. We'll see you tomorrow. But until then, enjoy yourselves. Enjoy this win. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you beat a team 17-0. It's great.
We all silly like the mayor.